Is Lewis Hamilton past it? The possible decline of the GOAT. Every single Ferrari fan I know used to hate Hamilton and love Vettel. Every single one. Vettel was being screwed over by the governing body, or Vettel was the better driver but Lewis had the better car, and who knows what else they were crying about back when Mercedes was fast and poor old Vettel was being exposed as not quite as good as we thought when he was driving that newly designed Renault-powered Red Bull rocket. Now, times have changed. Hamilton has joined the team in red for a final throw of the dice at making Ferrari great again and riding off into the sunset, presumably in an electric-powered vehicle. Of course, now the Ferrari fanboys have started admitting that Hamilton was actually the superior driver and have forgotten their Vettel-flavored tirades from not that long ago. Personally, I have to admit that Hamilton has to be in the conversation for the all-time GOAT, but so has Michael Schumacher. My point, you ask? Before his first retirement, Schumi was the best, the greatest, full stop. Then he couldn't leave well enough alone, came back and was smack average. Lewis Hamilton should probably have called it quits after 2021. He didn't, and good for him, the man has recently won races. Nelson Piquet was washed up by 1989, but won some in the early 90s as well. I think Hamilton may be past his best, but as a firm believer of statistics, let's see if that is so. The best barometer for this is probably to compare his performances with that of the only other driver in the same setup, his own teammate. But let's have a look at the man's career. Splitting it into three segments, 2007 to 2012, 2013 to 21 and 21 to 25. 2007 to 2012 McLaren. A brief overview is all that's necessary of the early years. The rookie won his 6th ever Grand Prix, finished runner-up in the Drivers' Championship in his first year, tied on 109 points with two-time champion, teammate and seemingly forever rival Fernando Alonso. What I would give to see these two in the same team for a final season before they both retire. Hamilton, of course, won the 08 title and would win 21 odd races for McLaren before joining Mercedes and cementing his GOAT status. 2013 to 21, Mercedes Part 1. Contender to dominant driver of the era, Hamilton joined a seemingly weaker team when he divorced McLaren and married Mercedes. 6 drivers' titles, 82 race wins until the end of 2021. And he was the obvious standout driver of this era. He beat his teammate every season except 2016 when Rosberg took the title. And he broke pretty much all Schumi's records left, right and center. 21 to 25. Here we need to spend a little more time. Hamilton's ability has been properly established now, and he's broken all the records. Now we need to see whether the man has been in inferior machinery since 2022 and can blame that for his poor form, or average form, or he has been in inferior machinery and the ravages of Father Time may have been clawing away at his abilities as a race-winning legend. Since 2021's end, 68 races have been raced. Hamilton has won only 2 of them, compared to the 105 in his whole career. He's only been on pole once and scored 2 podiums. In 2021 alone, he won 8 races and scored 17 podiums. The car was nowhere near as good as in the past, yes, but how did his teammate fare? In this time frame, George the Jack Russell has been Lewis's only teammate, and he's won 5 races, started on pole 5 times, and scored 14 podiums. In 2 of their 3 seasons together, Russell has finished higher in the title race than Lewis. Does this mean the British GOAT is past it? Well, not necessarily. Button also beat him as teammates at McLaren, and then he left to win 6 World Drivers' Championships at Mercedes. The final factor we have to take into account here is the Leclerc one. Quietly, Charles Leclerc has seen off the challenge of Carlos Sainz. Before Sainz, he destroyed what was left of Vettel's aura. Leclerc is an elite level driver, probably better than Russell, and along with Piastri, my personal picks for future World Drivers' Champions. This man will not sit and watch silently as Lewis steals his thunder. He will fight back, and then sparks will fly, and before long, flashbacks of Lewis versus Rosberg may be playing out in red cars this time. Now obviously I cannot predict the future, I can only speculate. If I could predict the future, I would have had a pretty solid investment account by now. Time, however, waits for no man, and you don't need to see the future to know that. And at 40, Hamilton can no longer claim to be in his prime. Yes, himself and Alonso seem to be freakishly good at fighting off the effects of old age, both being elite level Formula 1 drivers into their 40s, while I struggle to walk to the fridge at the same age. I personally believe that Lewis will give it all this season, in an attempt to retire with that one accolade very few drivers can lay claim to, being champion at Scuderia Ferrari. Leclerc and most likely Ferrari's ability to shoot themselves in the foot will combine with Verstappen and McLaren to attempt to stop him from achieving this dream. There can be little doubt that Hamilton has declined significantly since 2021, but there can be even less doubt that he has the mental fortitude and experience combined with amazing ability, even if said ability has diminished from his peak. And if the stars align and Hamilton leads Leclerc by enough points with 4 or even 5 races to go, things may just go his way, as Ferrari will then back him for the title. If the man has any sense, he will ride off into the sunset the moment if he does manage to win that title at Ferrari though. And with that, I have to bid you farewell. Thank you very much for that like and for that subscribe to keep the old algorithm ticking over. God bless and goodbye.